gear, mate. 5, get ready to go. Go, go, go.
When you stop and consider a supercar pit stop, it's something of a symphony, and it all happens in such a tiny fraction of time, 3 or 4 seconds, to be able to rattle these 20+ kilo control wheels and Dunlop tyres onto these cars. But there's a whole lot of considerations from both an engineering standpoint and just time and motion to make sure you get it right. And from time to time, we do see people getting it slightly wrong, and we've seen some obvious examples of that in this championship season. So the first thing to understand is these things are heavy and they're not easy to manipulate. So you've got to be able to get them straight onto these 5 little locating lugs that are just either side of the spindle here. And that's critical to getting the stop right in the first instance. And so in the back of the rim here, there's a whole variety of these slotted holes, which you can just move the wheel to make sure that it sits on nice and tight. Then on the new generation car, I've got a much smaller machined wheel nut, totally different to the old one. And so when it goes onto the spindle, which has been a bit of a talking point so far this season, it's got to go on far enough to lock so that these little spring-loaded pawls actually pop out and stop that nut from coming off. Now, if you don't get the wheel on properly and it doesn't sit correctly on the spindle, and remembering that steel and aluminium have got different expansion rates, that can also be a trap. Then if it hasn't seated, then the whole thing can come off. And because the pawls haven't actually dropped into place and the wheel nut isn't locked, the whole thing can come adrift. But I still think that it's amazing when you look at the men and women in all of these race teams, week in and week out, they do these stops so efficiently. This stuff is also beautifully made, and in total harmony, on they go, and they torque them up and away they go, and we get entertained.